Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So today we have Miss Ritika Singh with us. Miss Ritika has done her master's in education from Lakehead University, Canada, and with her specialization in English language teaching. Other than that, Miss Ritika has also done her advanced level courses in creative writing, in reading, listening, speaking, and writing from the British Council. And she's going to talk us through about the entire procedure and the other insights into taking admission into postgraduate courses in the universities at Canada. Welcome to Education View 360, Ritika.
Thank you so much for having me, ma'am.
First question for the day is please tell our audience that how to get admission, what is the entire admission procedure that you had gone through to get admission into the postgraduate program in the Lakehead University at Canada.
So my friend owns a consultancy firm, and we got in touch together because I wanted to upgrade my education. So we got in touch, and he got me in touch with the university. He sent me their email address, and he wanted to keep everything transparent. So I was the one who was dealing with the university at every level, starting from the requirements that so my first email to them was asking for the requirement of the course. I went through the entire website of the university to check which course I wanted to go for. So I chose Masters of Education program because it seemed fit to my profile, my education profile. First, I sent out an email to the graduate studies. That's so masters and upward education comes under graduate studies in the North America, not just in Canada, but in America as well. And they replied instantly. So beginning, I sent out my initial credentials to them, photocopies, scanned copies, and everything. Once they went to the chair of the program. So the chair of the program was Dr. Berger. He looked out and he checked all the credentials. Then he was finally convinced with it, and he offered the program to me. Most important is because English is a foreign language for us. So we have to get certain bands in IELTS exam, and that is mandatory. So 6.5 was the minimum. I'm not sure what is the requirement in the present time.
All right. So, Ritika, other than clearing your IELTS, was there any requirement for references or the statement of purpose? Were these things required, and how did you go
Yes,
about
ma'am.
sorting them?
So statement of purpose was one of the daunting tasks, I would say. It took me over 2 weeks to actually come up with the statement of purpose because I had to think really, really deep into it, why I actually wanted to do it. And references were supposed to be in order. So I had to contact some of my professors at the university, Delhi University. Then I contacted my immediate employer. Then I contacted one of the teachers at the school. So they all collectively sent out references in my favor. And once they all were there, the confirmation letter was sent to me without any condition.
That means the mandatory requirement is your credential. When you say credentials, I assume that they must be your 10 standard certifications, 12 standard
Yes, ma'am.
undergraduation, all those mark sheets and manuscripts, right?
They have to come directly from the educational institutions.
All right. So, you must be having your own 10 standard CBSE mark sheet, 12 CBSE mark sheet.
Yes.
So, how did you send it through the educational institution?
Oh, for 10th and 12th, they were not worried about 10th and 12th. I notarized the photocopies and everything, photocopies of them, and then send them through post mail. And then for my college degrees, they wanted them to be sent to them directly from the colleges. So for example, Delhi University, my B.Ed, my MA English, everything was supposed to be sent from the educational institution directly. It's an easy process. So one day went to my college and I spoke with the principal. Principal was very much aware of it because nowadays students are going to foreign universities and this is one basic requirement. So the principal principal sent me to the admin department, and admin department readily agreed to do it.
So they had sent your manuscript direct to the university.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
had to share
Yes,
the
there was.
details, like the address and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
name of the university. All right. Okay.
So what I did was I took out the photocopies of my degree and mark sheets, and after notarizing them, I took them to the principal office. So principal also put his signature with his stamp on it. He attested it, actually, all the photocopies, and then those were put in the college envelope, and then they were sent to the university.
Understood. So you basically facilitated in terms of getting the Xerox and getting the notarization
Yes,
done
ma'am.
and then handing them over. That's great. That's a great information. I'm sure it would be of help to many students. And good to hear that the university and principal, they were all very cooperative. That's nice. Can you give us an insight into the course and the curriculum that you did and how intense was it?
It was highly intensive, I would say. I was unaware. So I actually initially I wanted to do it in conjunction with the women's studies. So since women's studies was not the part of my main program, so I had to speak with the chair of the women's studies department separately in order to let me in one of their courses. She agreed because I sent out I had to write a small statement why I wanted to do it. And then she agreed, and we spoke over the call once. And we also did one Skype interview as well. And she liked it. So she allowed me to do it with education. But then when I went there and when I saw that, when I started attending the classes, I realized that it was difficult to continue women's studies and education separate. So I went in and took an appointment with one of the professors, and I spoke with him. And he suggested me to drop that course and continue with the education only. There is one thing about Western education is that they give you complete autonomy of your course, that how you want to channelize it, in which direction you want to navigate it. So I navigated it into gender studies along with the education, that how with the help of education women can be empowered. So there were 3 courses that were compulsory. Rest of the 7 courses were elective, and there was a range of courses that I could choose from. I chose 2 of my courses were from environment. I wanted to dig deep into the environment. Chair of the department was one of the known researchers, pioneers in environment studies. So I wanted to study under him, and thankfully I was able to. And then there were courses that were related to education itself. And then there were courses that were related to research. So all the courses were designed in such a manner that research was a huge part of it. Without researching, without writing papers, no student, no course was complete. So I undertook presentations, seminars, presented my papers, and wrote literary reviews, many of them. And as daunting they were equally learning intensive.
That's great. Now, since you've given us an insight that it was a very intense course, so tell me, how did you manage your finances? Because number of times students rely on part-time jobs to make a living also. So is it possible to balance out doing a part-time job as well as digging deep into your academics?
Yes, there were some students who were doing that. I also did that. 20 to 24 hours were allowed for a student to work in a week. I used to use all my 24 hours of the week working, but I did not have to manage my finances. Thank God for that. For the first year, I stayed at university's hostel. Here, I moved out of the hostel and I took out a room where I had other 3 flatmates. Also, there were some friends of mine in the club, in my program, who were actually working and they were studying as well. Also, so they were managing their finances well. I worked because it helped me to understand the working environment there. I won't say that it's easy to find find work there, it's not easy.
It's not.
But
I was coming
no,
to
it's
that.
not easy.
I was coming to that, Ritika. I have come across a number of students, बहुत सारे बच्चे जो बाहर जाके पढ़ना चाहते हैं, उनको सिर्फ ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं बस 1 साल का फिनेंसेस अरेंज कर लो और बाकी वहां जाके हो जाएगा। तो मैं यही चीज सामने लाना चाहती हूँ कि कितना इजी है, क्या वहां जाके सचमुच हो जाता है, या ऐसा ना हो कि आप इतना बड़ा रिस्क ले लें और फिर आप को वापस आना पड़े बिकॉज ऑफ शॉर्टेज ऑफ फिनेंसेस। सो हाउ इजी इट इज टू फाइंड जॉब्स एंड हाउ इजी इट इज टू study as well as earn?
बच्चे वहां पे मैम बहुत स्ट्रगल करते हैं, बहुत स्ट्रगल। उनको जॉब चाहिए होता है किसी भी हालत में, क्योंकि कई बार वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक सेमेस्टर की फी पे करके आते हैं। Semester is just 3 months long. So just in case, if you won't be able to find employment in those 3 months, they start worrying about it. और उसके बाद कई बार वो लोग ऐसे लोगों के चक्कर में आ जाते हैं जहाँ पर वो उनसे करवाते तो काम पूरा पूरा 10 आवर्स हैं, लेकिन उनको सिर्फ 5 आवर्स का पैसा देते हैं। A couple of friends of mine who actually fell into this trap. हाँ, तो उसके बाद मैम लोगों ने एक दूसरे की हेल्प करना स्टार्ट किया, इसीलिए कम्युनिटी बिल्डिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट देयर।
दैट वाज माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कि आप एक फॉरेन कंट्री में जाके बिल्कुल नए हो, किसी को नहीं जानते हो, सो शेयर सम गुड टिप्स एंड आइडियाज दैट कम्युनिटी बिल्डिंग कैसे की जाए ताकि वहां पे एक आप होम अवे फ्रॉम होम क्रिएट कर सको, बिकॉज दैट इज द ओनली वे वन कैन सर्वाइव।
Every university has their own foreign student office. So I started going to those events and I started making friends there, Indian friends, Bangladeshi, Pakistani. So जितने भी Asian community है वो सारी साथ में आती थी. This is how I met some of my very good friends. इसलिए जब भी आप कहीं जाएं तो किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में जाएं, वहां पर हमेशा एक ये ऑफिस होगा ही होगा और वहां पे जाके आप अपने आप को रजिस्टर करा लें।
Ritika, now talking about the English requirement, you said you cleared your IELTS and there is a certain score that one needs to achieve in the IELTS. So share some tips how to prepare for IELTS and how easy or difficult it is to clear it.
I went to British Council to attend many small term courses and then I went to attend their IELTS course as well. वहां पर मुझे ये पता चला था कि जितना ज्यादा हो सके to watch English channels. So I started watching YouTube videos. They helped me a lot for listening section. As for reading is concerned, I'm an avid reader myself, so reading was never a problem. It is just the questions that they ask. I did not know that there is yes no questions and true and false questions are actually different. So when I joined British Council, that's where I got to know how to answer true and false and how to answer yes and no. And all these tips are readily available on many YouTube channels.
My last question to you, Ritika, is what are the career prospects after doing masters in education from a foreign university? I mean, if you had done it from India, how things would have been different for you vis-a-vis that you've done it from Canada?
Ma'am, first of all, I am able to use all those teaching techniques in my live teaching now when I am a teacher myself. Also, I was able to present myself very confidently because I presented many seminars and presentations. So it gave me a lot of confidence in myself, in my being and on my language skills. I would say that if you go anywhere in the world, once you have done MEd from a foreign university, you will find yourself in a very, very confident place. Now, I cannot say the same about Indian education because we are more focused towards exams.
True. Unfortunately, yes.
And I have started giving a lot of freedom to my students now, obviously in a very constrictive environment, but I do give them a lot of freedom in what they want to do.
Thank you so much. So I am happy. This is what I wanted to hear, that you are happy and you feel that was the right decision to go abroad and pursue your higher studies, and you are getting return to investment in terms of you being a better personality, you being a better communicator, you being a better teacher who's more resourceful with the use of technology and different teaching pedagogies. Great. So it has added a lot to your overall persona. Thank you so much for being with us, Ritika ma'am. Thanks a lot. And whatever insights you have given, I'm sure our audience would benefit out of it. And to our audience, we are trying to create a community here where students come in and share their experiences for the benefit of other students. So stay tuned and keep sharing the video.